They say you never truly know someone until trust is tested. But what they don't tell you is how much it hurts when that test is rigged against you. My name's Adam, 32 years old, married for nearly 4 years. If you had asked me a few months ago how my marriage was going, I would have smiled and said, solid, strong, happy. And I would have meant it. I met Emily 7 years ago. We clicked fast, like two puzzle pieces that had been waiting in the wrong boxes. She was smart, sarcastic in the best way, and had this habit of quoting movies mid-conversation. I fell for her hard. We built a life together, brick by brick. No cheating, no screaming matches, just real partnership. At least that's what I thought. Our life was on track. We had just moved into a cozy 2-bedroom apartment in a quiet neighborhood outside the city. I was finally promoted to project lead at a design firm, and Emily had just finished a psychology certification to work in counseling. We were even talking about kids. Softly, cautiously, but the conversations were happening. It felt like we were moving forward, hand in hand. But now, looking back, I can see the hairline fractures I missed. Emily's circle of friends had always rubbed me the wrong way, not in a controlling way. I never told her who to hang out with, but I noticed things. The way they gossiped, the way they acted like men were disposable if they made one mistake. Always playing relationship games, reading each other's texts, dissecting every word like a crime scene. Still, I never thought they'd have any serious influence on Emily. She was different, grounded, thoughtful. At least, I believed she was. Then came the shift. Quiet at first, like when the wind changes just before a storm. It started with small things. She stopped laughing at my dumb jokes the way she used to. We still had dinner together, but the conversations felt thinner, like we were both talking to fill space rather than connect. I chalked it up to stress. Work had been hectic for both of us. Then came the late nights out with her friends. At first, once a week, then twice, then whole weekends. She'd say, "We're just catching up. I haven't seen the girls in forever." And I believed her. Why wouldn't I? That's what trust is, right? Even when she started sleeping in the guest room once or twice a week, citing headaches or needing to clear her head, I didn't panic. I gave her space. I thought maybe she was dealing with something privately and needed time to talk about it. I thought we were good. I thought love was enough. But hindsight's cruel like that. It shows you the clues you missed when it's already too late to stop what's coming. And what came next? Well, it shattered everything I believed about love, loyalty, and the woman I thought I knew best. The change was slow, so subtle that at first I convinced myself I was imagining things. It started with her phone. Emily used to leave it face up on the counter, casually checking it once in a while like most people. But over the span of a few weeks, her phone developed a permanent face-down posture. Notifications would pop, and she'd quickly silence them or swipe them away before I could even glance in that direction. Not that I was trying to spy, but when you live with someone, you notice patterns. And when patterns shift, so does your gut. At night, she'd scroll endlessly in bed. Screen turned slightly away. I'd ask her who she was texting, and she'd say just the girls, or no one important, brushing me off with a quick smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. Then there was her tone, gentle but distant, almost polite. Like I was a guest, she was trying not to offend. Conversations became transactional. Did you pay the utility bill? Yeah, it's done. I'm working late tomorrow. Don't wait for dinner. Okay, I'll order in. Gone were the little inside jokes, the shared glances, the spontaneous hugs in the kitchen. Our world became a quiet rhythm of coexistence. The kind you'd expect from roommates, not a married couple. One Friday evening, I suggested a weekend getaway, just the two of us, somewhere coastal. Simple, something to reconnect. Her response was a half-hearted shrug. This weekend, the girls are planning something. Maybe next time. That phrase, maybe next time, started to haunt me. It became her go-to for everything that once mattered to us. Date nights, movies, cuddling on the couch. Always next time. Never now. Her friends were suddenly everywhere. Group chats buzzing nonstop. Random dinner plans. Spa days. Brunches. Wine nights. It's not like she never went out before, but this was different. Constant, like she was escaping something at home. But what? I hadn't done anything wrong. No big fight. No betrayal. Just a slowly growing silence between us. I tried to talk to her one night. Just laid it all out on the table. Hey, is something going on? You seem really distant lately. She looked at me with this expression I still can't describe. A strange mix of guilt and frustration. No, Adam, everything's fine. I've had a lot on my mind. Work's been stressful. I'm allowed to need some space. Of course she was. I told her I understood. I didn't want to be the insecure husband who panics over nothing. But deep down, something gnawed at me. That week, she started sleeping in the guest room more often, claimed she wasn't sleeping well, and didn't want to keep me up. The first night, I bought it. By the third, I knew something was off. The final straw, the moment I stopped denying to myself, came one ordinary Tuesday. I came home early from work. No warning, no text. Just a surprise half-day I wanted to spend with her. I thought maybe I'd cook, light a couple candles, try to break the ice. I opened the front door and heard laughter. Hers. It came from the kitchen. She was on a video call with her 3 closest friends, giggling like they were back in high school. But when I stepped in, her face dropped like a switch had been flipped. She fumbled to mute the call and quickly ended it. Didn't expect you home so early, she said, forcing a smile. Yeah, I replied, try to play it cool. Thought I'd surprise you. That's sweet, she said, eyes darting to her phone. But I have a ton of work to catch up on. Maybe later. That was it. A shrug, a fake smile, a wall where love used to be. I spent the rest of the evening alone in the living room, pretending to watch TV, while she sat behind a locked guest room door. At that point, I didn't know what was going on. I just knew that whatever this was, it wasn't fine. I didn't sleep that night. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, wondering if I was being paranoid. Maybe this was just a rough patch. Every couple goes through them, right? Maybe Emily really was overwhelmed. Maybe I wasn't being supportive enough. But that whisper in my chest, the one that had started weeks ago, was now screaming. The next morning, I woke up to silence. Her side of the bed still empty. The guest room door was open, but she wasn't there. No coffee brewing. No sound of the shower. She was gone. A note on the kitchen counter caught my eye. It wasn't handwritten. Just a sticky note with a brief line. Didn't want to wake you. Staying at Leah's for a couple days. Need to clear my head. Please don't text. My stomach sank. Not because of what was written, but because of how cold and rehearsed it felt. Like she had already decided something, and I was the last to know. I didn't text her that day, or the next. I gave her the space she asked for, even though it tore me apart. On the third day, a message finally came, but it wasn't the one I was hoping for. It was 7:42 p.m. I was sitting on the couch, half eating a bowl of reheated pasta I didn't want. My phone buzzed. Her name lit up the screen. I opened it, heart racing. Hey, I've been thinking a lot. I think we should take a break from each other for a while. Please don't take it the wrong way. I just need time to think clearly. I'm not in the right headspace right now. I hope you understand. Just like that. No call. No explanation. No warning. A text message to put our entire marriage on hold. I stared at the screen for a long time. My chest felt hollow, like all the air had been punched out of it. Was this real? Was this how it ended? I typed out a reply 3 times and deleted it each time. First attempt. Are you serious right now? Second. Why? What did I do wrong? Third. Can we please talk about this face-to-face? I deleted all of them. Instead, I turned my phone over and just sat there in silence, trying to make sense of what was happening. Emily and I had made promises. We had fought before, but we always talked it out. We always faced things together. So why now? Why this sudden shutdown? The worst part was not knowing. Was she breaking up with me because she met someone else? Did I say something that pushed her away without realizing it? Was this truly about space, or was it a way to quietly walk out without having to be the bad guy? Days passed. I didn't reach out again. I told myself I'd give her time. But with every hour, a deeper kind of pain settled in. Not the pain of heartbreak, but of betrayal. Something just didn't add up. It was too clean, too structured. The silence was deafening. At night, I'd lie awake and replay everything. Her cold responses, her friend's growing influence, the laughter she muted when I walked in, that note, and now this text. I wanted to believe she just needed time. But the truth was creeping in. Maybe she was already gone. And I had no idea what was coming next. It had been 9 days since Emily sent the breakup message. 9 days of silence. No texts, no calls, no closure. The apartment felt like a shell, like someone had taken a life out of it, but left the furniture behind as a cruel reminder. I wasn't sleeping. Not really. Just lying in bed, scrolling aimlessly or staring at the dark ceiling, hoping I'd wake up from whatever nightmare this was. That's when I got the message. It came from Leah's boyfriend, Kyle, someone I barely talked to beyond the occasional cookout or couples game night. We were acquaintances at best. He was always quiet, kind of kept to himself while the girls gossiped and giggled. His message was short. Hey, man, this might be none of my business, but I think you should know something. Can we talk? I stared at it for a moment, unsure what to expect. My fingers hovered over the keyboard before I finally typed. Yeah, call me. He called within seconds. Kyle, I said, voice cautious. Yeah, look, this is going to sound insane, but I think your wife's friends pulled some kind of messed up stunt on you. That sentence punched me harder than I expected. What do you mean? I asked, sitting up straight. He hesitated. I overheard them. Emily, Leah, and the others. They were at Leah's place last night. They thought I was asleep. But I heard them laughing, saying how he's still not texting and how you were probably freaking out by now. My blood ran cold. Kyle continued. They were calling a loyalty test. Said Emily needed to know if you'd chase after her, or if you'd start talking to someone else the moment she left. Like this was a game. Silence. I didn't even know what to say. My hands were trembling. My heart wasn't beating. It was slamming inside my chest. She faked a breakup? I asked, my voice low and disbelieving. Yeah, man. It was never real. She's been with Leah the whole time. There's no thinking, no space. Just a plan test to see what you'd do if she vanished. Like she was trying to catch you slipping. I felt sick. Not because I'd done anything wrong, but because she had. Because she didn't trust me enough to talk. Because instead of a conversation, she chose a trap. And worst of all, because I didn't even see it coming. Why are you telling me this? I asked. He sighed. Because it's wrong. I don't want to be part of it. I told Leah it was cruel, and she brushed it off like it was some harmless prank. Said all guys need to be tested. I figured you deserved to know. I thanked him. I don't remember how I ended the call. My thoughts were racing too fast. That night, I sat alone in the dark and reread every message she sent me over the past 2 weeks. Now, every word reeked of manipulation. Every I need space. And please don't take it the wrong way, was just another move in their twisted little experiment. I didn't cry. I didn't rage. I just went numb. Because betrayal doesn't always come with shouting matches or dramatic exits. Sometimes it comes through silence and a smile. Through women who pretend to love you while secretly testing your loyalty like you're a subject in some psychological experiment. She wanted to see what I'd do? Fine. I decided I'd show her exactly who I was. Not by yelling, not by begging, not by playing her game, but by staying silent. I wouldn't reach out. I wouldn't react. I'd let her sit in her fake breakup. And when she came crawling back for the man she thought she could manipulate, she'd find someone entirely different. Someone who saw her clearly now. For the first time in days, I slept, and when I woke up, I wasn't confused anymore. I was ready. I woke up the next morning with a strange sense of clarity. Not peace. No, not yet, but purpose. The kind of stillness that only comes after something inside you finally breaks and settles. Emily wanted a test? Fine. She was about to find out what it felt like to lose control of the game she started. I didn't text her. I didn't call, didn't ask when she was coming back, didn't beg for answers. I gave her exactly what she claimed to want, space. And I let her sit in the silence she created. But I wasn't just waiting around. I started deleting photos. First, I cleared my Instagram. I didn't go nuclear. I just archived our pictures quietly, carefully. No drama, no petty captions. Just gone. Our anniversary posts, the vacation selfies, even the wedding photo pinned to the top of my feed. I replaced them with a gym update, a new haircut, and a picture of me hiking. Something I hadn't done in years. The likes came quickly. Old friends I hadn't talked to in months suddenly popped up in my DMs. Looking good, bro. Glad to see you out and about. Even my sister called me. Are you and Emily okay? She asked gently. We're figuring things out, I said, and left it at that. I hit the gym harder than I had in years. Not because I wanted revenge. Not because I thought it would make Emily jealous. But because I needed to reclaim something. My routine, my focus, myself. For the first time in a long time, I wasn't operating around someone else's emotions. I wasn't tiptoeing around mood swings or wondering what I'd done wrong. I was just existing, and it felt surprisingly good. I didn't tell anyone what I had learned from Kyle. I didn't blast it on social media or confront her friends. That's what she would have expected. An outburst, a meltdown, some proof that her little test worked. Instead, I gave her silence. And that silence, it echoed. On day 4 of my quiet transformation, she texted, Hey, haven't heard from you. Just checking in. Hope you're doing okay. I stared at the screen, unimpressed. A check-in? After faking a breakup to spy on me from the shadows? I didn't reply. The next day, she texted again. I miss talking to you. Can we maybe grab coffee soon? Now she was nervous. I could feel in the tone. The fake confidence was wearing off. The leash she thought she had on me was slipping through her fingers. I left her on read. 2 days after that, she called. I let it ring, then muted her contact. No rage, no games, just control. Because for the first time, I held the power, not in a cruel way, but in a way that let her feel the weight of her choices. The absence she had manufactured for me was now hers to sit in. She had set a trap, thinking I'd fall into it. Instead, I walked around it and kept walking. Every day that passed, I felt more certain. The man she was testing never existed. Not in the way she imagined. He wasn't a pawn. He wasn't desperate. He wasn't going to dance for her approval. She thought she was watching me. But now I was the one watching her. And I was just getting started. It took her 12 days to crack. I was making coffee, calm, grounded, genuinely feeling more like myself, when I heard a knock at the door. It was her. Emily stood there in casual jeans and a hoodie, no makeup, hair tied back. For a moment, she looked like the woman I married. But her eyes were different, unsure, searching. Hey, she said softly, as if we were bumping into each other after a long vacation. I leaned against the doorframe. Hey! There was a long pause. She waited like she thought I'd jump in with a hug or pull her inside. I didn't move. I was in the area, she said, already lying. Thought I'd check in. I nodded slowly. You could have texted. I did, she said quickly, as if I'd forgotten. You didn't answer. I know. That's when her smile twitched. Her confidence cracked, just a little. Can I come in? She asked. I let the silence stretch before stepping aside. Sure. She walked in, glanced around. Everything was clean, neat, lived in, but there was no trace of her anymore. Her coat wasn't on the rack. Her book wasn't on the coffee table. Her mug wasn't in the sink. You've been busy, she said, eyeing the weights by the wall and the fresh groceries on the counter. Yeah, I replied. Had a lot of free time lately. She sat on the edge of the couch like she wasn't sure if she was allowed to be there. I feel like I owe you an explanation, she began. About everything. I stayed quiet. She cleared her throat. I wasn't trying to hurt you. I needed to see if you were still fully in this. My friends, she paused, realizing how bad that sounded. They thought it might help clear things up. I raised an eyebrow. So ghosting your husband was a loyalty test. She winced. It wasn't like that. I just needed to know how you'd respond if we had space, if you'd fight for us. I laughed, quiet, sharp, bitter. So you faked a breakup. Let me think I lost you. Watched from the sidelines while I spiraled. And you did to see if I'd fight? You didn't even call, she said, voice cracking. You just disappeared. My eyes narrowed. You told me not to text, not to call. You said you needed space. I gave it to you. She looked stunned, like she hadn't considered what it would feel like to be on the receiving end of her own silence. I was scared, she whispered. Everyone said men cheat when they get bored, that they don't chase after what they already have. You didn't ask me. You asked your friends. And you believed them more than you trusted me. She looked down at her hands, fiddling with her sleeves. I thought you'd come after me. I didn't expect that I'd be okay without you, I said. Her eyes lifted, full of panic now. No, I didn't expect you to just go cold. I didn't go cold, I said. I went quiet, because I realized if you needed to test me believe in us, then maybe we were already broken. That hit her like a slap. Tears welled up in her eyes. I made a mistake, a really, really stupid mistake. I nodded. You did. I want to fix this, she said quickly, desperately. Please, I'll cut them off, my friends. I'll do anything. Just tell me what to do. I stared at her for a long moment. This wasn't the woman who left a sticky note on the counter and ghosted me for days. This was the aftermath, the fear, the regret, and she had every reason to feel both. I'm not sure I want someone who had to lose me to realize what I was worth, I said quietly. Her lip trembled. So that's it. I shrugged. You started the test. You tell me, did I pass? She didn't answer. She just sat there, breaking in real time, while I watched the game she created fall apart in her hands. And this time, I didn't rush to help her pick up the pieces. The silence between us stretched for what felt like hours. Emily sat on the edge of the couch, crumbling in slow motion. She looked smaller somehow, folded in on herself, like if she could make herself small enough, I'd forget what she'd done. I didn't think it would go like this, she said, voice barely a whisper. I thought, maybe you'd come after me. Tell me how much you need me, and then we'd talk. We'd be closer after, stronger. I stared at her. You thought deception would build trust? No, she snapped, then immediately winced. I mean, I didn't think of it as deception. It was stupid, I know that now. It was meant to be temporary, just to see. To see what? I asked, my voice calm but cold. If I'd beg? If I'd get jealous? If I'd fail? She shook her head, eyes glossy with tears. To see if you still love me the way you used to. That landed with a dull, painful thud in my chest. Not because I didn't love her, but because she genuinely thought she had to test that love with distance and silence. You could have asked me, I said. You could have sat down and told me you were feeling disconnected, that you were scared, that you needed reassurance. And I would have given it to you, gladly, openly, honestly. Her tears started to fall now, fast and silent. I thought if I asked, it wouldn't feel real. Like you'd just say what I wanted to hear. I thought actions would speak louder. And so you manufacture crisis, I said. You turned our marriage into a game to see how I'd react under pressure. That's not action, Emily. That's manipulation. She collapsed into her hands, crying harder now. Guilt poured out of her in broken gasps. I don't know why I listened to them. I guess I just panicked. They kept saying things like, men don't stay loyal unless they think they'll lose you. And you believed them over me. That shut her up. I don't even know who you are right now. I said quietly. The Emily I married wouldn't have let anyone convince her to destroy her own relationship just to prove a point. She looked up at me, eyes bloodshot. I didn't destroy it. Not yet. We can come back from this. Please. I'll do anything. I could see the desperation building. The panic giving way to fear. Not the fear of losing me, but the fear of knowing she'd sabotage something good. Something stable out of pure insecurity and influence from people who didn't value what she had. I cut them off, she said suddenly. Last night, I told them I don't want them in my life if this is how they treat relationships, if this is what they call support. I blocked their numbers. All of them. That's a start, I said, emotionless. I'll go to therapy. We can go together. I'll prove to you this isn't who I am. But that was the problem, wasn't it? It was who she was, at least for those 2 weeks. She had the time, the space, the opportunity to do the right thing, and instead, she let me twist in the wind while she watched from behind a curtain. She walked away from our marriage like it was a performance. She wanted a reaction. I gave her a mirror. Now she was breaking under the reflection. You're right about one thing, I said. We can't go back, because now I know what you're capable of when you feel uncertain. I know that you'd rather test me than talk to me. She stood up quickly, grabbing my hands. Please don't give up on us. Don't let this be the end. I looked at her, really looked at her. My wife, my partner, the woman I once trusted without question. And now I wasn't even sure if I knew her anymore. I haven't decided anything, I said quietly, pulling my hand back. But I'm not rushing this. Not after what you did. I need time to think. Alone. Her shoulders slumped. She nodded slowly, defeated. I'll go, she said, and turned toward the door. But just before stepping out, she stopped and whispered, I'm so sorry, Adam. I never meant to lose you. I didn't answer, because I didn't know if she already had.